Right now on the line is Congressman Jim Moran, Democrat from Virginia. Congressman, thanks for joining us here. I note yesterday you came out and said that you were going to support the president in his desire to strike at Syria militarily. And in your statement, you said President Obama was absolutely right in setting a red line against the use of weapons of mass destruction. But then about the same time, I think the president said this.
I didn't set a red line. The world set a red line.
So did he set a red line, Congressman, or did he not?
He did, but I think the world has as well, even the Congress has. We've passed legislation like the Syria Accountability Act that made specific citation of chemical weapons. So we're on record as well saying that this country will not allow the use of chemical weapons. And there are Geneva Accords referring to weapons of mass destruction like chemical weapons that are basically prohibited within the rules of war. So he's not the only one who has done it, but he did do it. And, of course, he speaks for the United States. But it's consistent with the policy we've had for a long time now,
all right,
really since World War I.
So here's my question, because, we broadcast right into the heart of Northern Virginia. A lot of people who are your constituents are also listeners of this program. I would say that about 98% of the people who have called into this show to offer an opinion, and this is an opinion that's not Republican or Democrat. This can cut both ways.
I agree.
They have almost to a person have said, we don't support this. So I'm certain you're getting those same level of calls. So why are you supporting?
There's no question.
So why are you supporting the president when your constituents say no?
I'm getting the same percentage. The vast majority of my constituents are opposed, but they were in favor of the Iraq invasion when I was opposed to it, and I felt just as strongly that the facts and history would bear out my judgment. I mean, I've got to exercise my judgment on these things. You have to make a call in terms of whether you're going to be fully representative of your constituents, or you're going to try to show some leadership on an issue like this. And this is one where I feel strongly enough. I've got to, be true to my conscience and to try to explain why I do think that it's the best thing for us to stop the use and proliferation of chemical weapons now. This country is the only one who can do that. We're the only one with the intelligence and logistical capability and weaponry that we can say no and back it up. And if we don't, then what are the consequences? I think the consequences are dire, not as much for us today, but for our children tomorrow. I don't want my kids and grandkids living in a world where weapons of mass destruction are the new norm of war fighting. We can't let that happen.
Congressman, Congressman, I'm sorry for jumping in there. You also said that if the United States didn't carry out this military strike, that they'd be abdicating their responsibility. Do you believe that Great Britain has abdicated their responsibility by opting out?
Yes, actually, I do. I think that their decision is largely a continuing repercussion from the Iraq War. And I think the opposition on the part of the Congress and the people of the United States is largely the ramifications of the Iraq War, which turned out to have been a mistake. It was a wrong decision.
But we saw members of the House of Commons. They weren't referring to the Iraq War. They were saying, listen, the President of the United States drew the red line. Our Prime Minister didn't. Why do we need to put our military in harm's way to back up the President?
There's no question in my mind that had Britain not supported the Iraq War and been misled by Tony Blair, that they would have been more than anxious to stand alongside us in the Syria conflict. I don't have any question in my mind, but we're still paying the price for that, what I would consider to be a wrong-headed decision. This is what happens. These things come back to haunt you, and I think a lot of my colleagues are still haunted by what happened with Iraq. But I think this is a very different situation. Then the facts that we were told were specious. The motivation was suspect. These facts are irrefutable. There's no question but that Assad did use weapons on civilians.
Let me ask you about that, because I'm hearing that a lot of people have gone into these briefings and they've come out largely unconvinced at the evidence. And there's a story on Politico this morning that says that because of that, they can already identify in the House of Representatives roughly 200 members who are likely to vote against the president on this matter.
I don't know what briefing they were listening to. I mean, I've weighed all of the evidence carefully, and I come up to the same conclusion as Senator Kerry and any number of other people, including John McCain on the Republican side, who believe that the facts are irrefutable. I believe they're irrefutable. There's no question in my mind but that Assad did this. And there's no question in my mind, but he's going to do it again and again if we don't stop him now. And I don't think this is so much about Assad and Syria. I think it's about us and the world we want to live in. We're not going to conclude this war by our strategic strikes, but I do think we can stop the continued use of chemical weapons.
Representative Jim Moran of Virginia is our guest. And Congressman Moran, you had actually said that you didn't think the president needed to get congressional okay on this. You wish he had just gone and struck Syria without seeking congressional approval, but he has. So the question is, what is the imminent threat to the United States of America posed by Syria right now?
There is no imminent threat posed by Syria today, but there is a threat if a nation anywhere in the world gets away with using chemical weapons with impunity and we don't stop them. Then it is a threat. It is a threat to our security and even more so to the security of future generations of Americans. And that's what this is about. This is about stopping the use of chemical weapons.
All right, I've heard you.
Degrading his ability to use them.
I just got to get one more question in. If the Congress votes against the president, do you think the president will go forward with the strike anyway?
I just don't know. Sometimes I don't know what he's going to do.
I mean, they've suggested they could.
You know, I don't know. I would have thought that he would have upheld the credibility of the United States and the viability of his presidency by acting as he thought was necessary, rather than leaving the fate of our reputation in his presidency in the hands of a Congress that has proven itself at every turn to disappoint him and the American people. I just don't know why he left it to the Congress, frankly, but he did, and here we are. And if the Congress rejects him, I don't know what he's going to do.
Do you think he should? I just have to bear down on this.
This is right anyway.
If the Congress says no, would there be outrage on Capitol Hill if he went forward anyway?
Oh, of course there'll be outrage. Some of it feigned, some of it real. But Presidents Reagan and Clinton did this. Syria has done it several times without declaring war or waging war. They have used surgical strikes to achieve an objective. This is a limited objective. He has the authority to do it. I think he should have used that authority. And I think we'd all be a lot safer if he had, in a timely and effective and proportionate way.
Well, we've run out of time.
What the president's done, I wish he had done it.
We've run out of time, Congressman, but we really thank you for coming on and explaining your position. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, you are on the record, Representative Moran. And by the way, you know, we've been trying to get you on for a while now. You know, we're warm cuddlies. We're teddy bears here. Come on back. Be a regular guest.
I like you guys.
We like you right back.
My staff is too protective of me, I'm afraid.
Right. Make sure your staff doesn't, you know, well, they shouldn't listen every day. It's possible we criticize you here and there.
I like you guys. I listen to you. I'm delighted. I'm honored to be on with you.
Congressman Moran, you have now become part of our promo. Thank you for